There's a quote that's generally been attributed to Abraham Lincoln that goes like this: "When arguing with a fool, make sure the opponent isn't doing the exact same thing." Psychological research has shown that people do not do a very good job evaluating their ability to do something well. In fact, we often overestimate how much we know or how strong our abilities are. This puts us at the risk of experiencing great failure because we aren't able to identify areas where we fall short or might be incompetent so that we can work on them instead. Cognitive biases like this also lead to inflated egos predicated on misplaced skills and not much else to back it up. In fact, in 1999, psychologists David Dunning and Dunning Kruger came to the conclusion that people with low ability at a task tend to paradoxically overestimate themselves. This came to be known as the Dunning Kruger Effect. So if we plot this out on a graph, with one's confidence at a task measured against that person's actual knowledge of the area, initially, when we learn something new, we experience a surge of confidence in our ability. This is primarily because we know so little about the field that we think we know it all. It's pretty counterintuitive, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Let's call this point Mount Stupid. Because of this surge in confidence and hubris, many people stop learning here because they experience a pseudo sense of expertise that doesn't really help them in the long run. As you keep learning though, you realize how much you don't actually know, which gradually decreases your confidence. By discovering more about the vastness of the subject matter and your limited understanding, your confidence can reach a bottom, which could ultimately make you lose motivation and also possibly drop it altogether. You have to be careful of this and the internal dialogue that goes on in your head. You know, the one where you tell yourself you've learned nothing and you'll never be good at it. However, if you persist and keep learning, you'll uncover that your skills are actually getting better, and thus you see your confidence rise once more. Only this time, though, it's actually justified. By the end of it all, your confidence will be pretty much at the peak that you experienced when you first started learning about the field. Your journey towards learning something new can be daunting because of the immense amount of information you have to absorb. But this journey is actually a bit of an internal struggle of willpower and resilience. If you don't give in and simply stick with the process, the knowledge you gain can ultimately help you reach a level of mastery and expertise that others can only dream of. Now, you can also avoid missteps in the early stages of your learning journey due to misplaced confidence by simply challenging yourself to probe how you might possibly be wrong or missing information in that area. Part of the process is acknowledging that you don't really know everything yet. Maybe you'll get there one day and become a true expert. Our brains are incredibly adept at hiding our blind spots and convincing us that we are much more well-versed with things than we really are. This is particularly true with something like politics, where no matter what side of the aisle you fall on, you're likely often exposed to a few opinions from the same talking heads or alleged gurus that you end up feeling you know everything you'd need to about a topic. But really though, do you honestly know everything? Maybe we just need to become a little more comfortable with saying, "I don't know," when asked a factual question, and then go and learn some more about the subject so that we can actually provide an informed answer. Speaking of experts in a field, a sort of underground, small-time philosopher called Socrates once said, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing." Pretty great quote, huh? Because if you approach life with the mindset that you should keep learning more and absorbing information, you can more accurately estimate your capabilities and have a better measure on the extent to which you bring value to something. The Dunning Kruger Effect is really helpful to understand because when you realize that constant learning is a lifelong journey and that there are always going to be areas of incompetence or gaps in knowledge that might exist, you can then begin to put work in to plug those gaps and become truly proficient. As always, thank you so much for watching. Gently show some love to that like button and subscribe down below. There's also a little bell right next to that. If you hit it, it will make a very pleasing sound. Go ahead. There it is. See you next time.